Man, oh man, here we go again. And we are back with some flooding action. Thanks, Oklahoma. We just got dry enough to mow a yard. Better get 12 inches of water out there again. Guys, today I originally planned on working on our Toyota for Dad. However, part of what I was planning on doing involved me being outside a lot. And instead, Mother Nature just plans on raining a lot. Y'all know I love getting rained on. That's not happening. And that's okay, because actually this last week is when I'd been working on our S-10 video that went out on the main channel. This was the one where we finished up the AC, repaired a brake line. What else? Oh, put a transmission in it. Minor details, you know. And we even cut up those cow tracks that ticked off a lot of people. But we ended that video and I told y'all, welcome to hot rodding. And why was that? That's because this thing eats belts. Boy, she's a belt eater. Hear that thunder, Theodore? It's coming in. Oh, let's just screw it. Let's air out all the elephants in the room. I keep seeing people who want Theo to get a new doghouse. Y'all not remember what Theo loved when he first showed up here? Boy, you are wet. You gotta quit playing out there in that rain. Theodore loves a good box. When we got him dog beds, he still laid in boxes. Give him a blanket, he'd be in a box. And right now, the only reason he's even hanging out in here is because it's raining out. And he still likes to go out and play in the rain occasionally. He's wet right now. But Theodore loves his house, guys. And I know people think I'm just this mean guy for giving him that, but it's just what he likes. Hell, some people just like what they like, you know. I think this is the third pair of shoes people have sent out to me, trying to get me to wear something besides these cheap $20 Costco Skechers I get. But I just like what I like. Some people enjoy their cardboard box because they had less. But don't worry, Theodore, I'm gonna hush up the people. I'm gonna build you a little mansion in here at some point. And that way you can just lay outside of it and not care about it neither, okay? Okay. Theo cares about being loved on way more than he cares about a cardboard box. I don't know why I even got on there. Anyhow, guys, we ended this video with that belt walking off, the overheating issue. Right now, I don't know what I want to try on the overheating. I did let it cool off, and I did check the radiator just to make sure it wasn't low for some reason, and it was not. But if I can be honest, I'm not overly worried about that right now. I'm more concerned about this belt that's walking off, because I think there's a chance it ends up throwing the belt, and then we're in bad shape. In fact, Mortsky sent me and Slick some pictures the other day. He was a couple hours away from his house or so driving an LS swapped C10 pick 'em up truck. Boy, y'all can tell I'm good at the multitasking, can't you? Hold on, let me hit the hole. There she is. And I guess he didn't have a temp gauge and it had thrown the belt and he did not know. And yeah, that sucker overheated. So even before we worry about the coolant on this, we need to be able to drive it around with a peace of mind that we're not gonna just fling a belt and be on the side of the road. Because I can guarantee you what will not help with our overheating issue will be the water pump not pumping because we ain't got no dang belt on it. So that's where we're gonna start. Now, a lot of folks had asked me, like, did you check stuff with a straight edge? Did you do this or that? And no, guys, I did not. I hadn't heard anything to suspect that that kit would be bad. And then when we'd put it on and where we were during that week, we were just at a point in the video where I was trying to get everything together and hope for the best. And we see how that worked out for me. That'll happen. And now we're to the point where I don't know where my big ratchet's at because it ain't in there. And I know I seen it somewhere this last week. It'd been nice if it was in here since this is the one that wanted to throw belts. Found it. We're just gonna pull this intake and stuff out. I think I'd showed, I don't know if I did or not. So last week I'd built that bracket and I'd put a nutsert down in here, and after driving it, it allowed that bracket and everything to just kind of swivel down. And it made it back to the point of setting that on there. So as you can see, all I did was pick up more on this and drill a new hole up here, put our nutsert right there, and now that can't sag even if it wanted to. Should have thought of that the first go around. Now this is something else that had people highly concerned. and said I used the wrong radiator, this or that. Guys, as y'all know, I bought this thing already, and this radiator was in here, and I do not intend to rework this whole front end, so we're gonna make it work. What I can say is it was an improvement. And I can tell, I'm not saying there ain't a better way to do it, but I think it's gonna be fine for what we're doing, if that makes sense. Kind of like the cow track modification. Before, this thing would transfer so much heat into this that you literally could not even touch that because it was getting up to 200 degrees, guys. I mean, that thing was just cooked. I couldn't keep my hand on there for longer than like 2 seconds, and it was burning me. Well, after I took it out and drove it last time, I reached underneath there and was able to keep my hand on it just fine. So, significant improvement. I don't intend to header wrap all this stuff. I know it could help, but just not my... I guess I just don't like how it looks. And it's not like we're doing some super high-end performance thing. I know it would help it, but I think it just not heating up to 212 degrees like the upper radiator hose is gonna make the improvement we need. I know I said kind of like the cow tracks, and that's because I caught some crap for it. Folks were like, well, those things are worthless now. Guys, they're not. I understand how the cow tracks work, and I said in that video, I understand it's not gonna work as well as it could for the reason of safety. There's a modification we could do to make it work better and still be safer, but that was a quick, simple one. And they still do work, because I don't know if y'all recall on this truck before, it had a massive amount of wheel hop. In fact, after I put the cow tracks on, I said that was my favorite part, that the wheel hop was gone. No more bum, 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 beat your teeth out. It still does not have wheel hop. So the cow tracks are still doing enough to prevent wheel hop. So they're not worthless. They're not as efficient as they used to be, but they're not worthless. That may not be true. They're not as tunable as they used to be, and that could be a whole nother discussion that people would argue with me about, and you know, that's fine, whatever. I've driven the truck and I know it's still way better than before we had them, so I know that don't count for nothing, driving the damn thing. But anyhow, that's all I'll say about that. She still ain't a wheel hop bandit, so she's still doing better. Now, someone did teach me in the comments that this steam port, which I know some people say that's not even a steam port. They consider this down here, but that goes through that, so I'd consider it a steam port myself. Where'd they say? This one's supposed to go down to this over here, and then this is supposed to run up to over here. Where right now I've kind of just been using it like as an overflow tank. So I don't know if we need to investigate that, how that would help us, if at all. I'm not really up to knowledge on the late model radiators, but like on this one, unless our radiator cap hits whatever pressure that thing's rated at, however many pounds it takes to open that, that's obviously not going to dump out to there. So if we ran that to over there, then that to there, I don't know. I know on a late model radiator you don't have a radiator cap in the mix. There ain't nothing. You just fill it off the expansion tank. So I don't know if we're supposed to try to use this as an expansion tank or overflow. We can worry about that in a little bit. Right now I'm just going to start trying to figure out our pulley situation. I've seen a gentleman who had used this kit, same stuff on his S-10, had commented, and he said, oh, well, he said he went to a rib pulley. Mine has a rib pulley, so that ain't going to help me. I guess his had come with one that was just flat, that didn't have the ribs. He put a ribbed one on there, and that helped it to quit walking off for him. That obviously is not going to help us. I seen another comment that said they had used the same stuff, and he had to shim the tensioner pulley to get it to stay on. He had to add camber, and I'm like, so you had to shim it just on one side? Because that's the only way I can think that you could walk it and change it. I mean, with a nice, not cheap kit. Of course, no one wants to start wedging washers to a line crap, but I guess that's where we're going to start investigating, by trying to check with a straight edge or whatever. The pulleys are all different thicknesses too, so that makes checking with a straight edge a little difficult. Just like that rain coming down makes hearing a little difficult. So I'm just going to pull our belt, get it out the way. Someone said I need to check my tensioner as well. Make sure it don't have no crazy slack. That thing feels solid, guys. Want to make sure that arm wasn't able to walk left or right. All right, just kind of eyeballing this. What it looks like to me is that ruler's kind of running that away some, which in my brain, if you had this guiding you, holding that one straight, and that's kind of walked off that way, you think, well, actually, I guess the further you get back, the more that's going to be kicked over this way. Let's say if that's holding that out that way, you think it would just hold it over there further. Maybe we try something a little skinnier. Maybe we get that upper radiator hose out here. Oh, you want to fight, huh? Let's go off that leading edge. Guys, I don't know what we could do to make that better. With that across the face of that pulley, I'm looking down this one, and I mean, that edge is just running as parallel as can be with them grooves. That sucker can't be off much, if any. Now this tensioner, however, is way back there, so maybe that has some camber to it, and that's what's forcing it to walk. I mean, I'm just seeing a hair, literally a hair of space between that and our straight edge going across that down to that pulley. Is that enough to shove that thing off there? Boy, I wouldn't think so. As far as all this side goes, guys, we knew all this was working just fine with the tensioner that used to be on there. So I'm not even worried about looking at this side of things, because we know before this was all fine. So that's why I'm trying to understand what we got going on here. This whole unit we're checking out, but it, you know, if this whole thing is positioned off, I guess then what's back there, not what's back there, what's down there, the crank pulley. Like, how in line are we with that stuff? And how would it have to be off? All this stuff can stay true to each other on this mount, but that whole mount can be off. So we're going off these edges and it's fine, if that makes sense. But in relation to down there, obviously something's not fine. Boy, that's such a big span, I would think it'd be okay. It's impossible for y'all to see my eagle eye in here. Yeah, because I can't even see it, and I got the eyeballs. Wonder if this is a hair too far forward, and then that's why down there, if that's too far forward, the belt's trying to track straighter back here, and that's what's pulling it back. Sounds practical-ish. Now, I've heard really good things about the Current Performance customer service. I tried to call, but I guess they don't have a line for technical assistance. But they did have an email set up, so I did that, and I submitted a help thing online. I mean, we can try to figure this thing out, but if they've been down this road, then obviously hearing what they have to say would not hurt nothing. I don't even know if we'll get anything back today, but for now, I'm gonna pull the tensioner probably and this idler and just try to look at the lower crank pulley and the compressor pulley. Brought 2 Pot County speed wrenches to a wrench fight. This will allow us a little closer tensioner inspection as well. This was assembled by Brent over there at the Half-Ass Customs in Canada. Just playing, but he is my favorite Canadian. That dude's like a thumbtack. He's sharp. This one, nothing obviously worn out. I pulled on it when it's bolted. I was just curious if we had any play in there. Frog hair. Now, what's that look like looking down in there? Let's see. Depends on where I stand and which eyeball I use. I'm just curious if that compressor went back a hair, if that would fix stuff. We could shim the whole compressor back a hair by putting a washer between that bolt and that other one down there that mounts it. Honestly, that bracket right there being 1/8 inch thick aluminum, that's probably going to deflect anyhow. But obviously we could washer it as well. Tech support at Current Performance Wiring says this isn't something we've ran into for quite some time. I'd suggest reaching out to the guys at Quick Performance and see if they can help. They're the ones who build the kit. So that's why I kept getting Quick Performance and Current Performance mixed up, because Current Performance is selling Quick Performance parts. Now the wiring and stuff is all Current Performance, and I bought the rest of the stuff through Current Performance, but apparently it's made by Quick Performance. Or the AC stuff is anyhow. Hey, fast customer response, I guess. I think they emailed back within like a couple minutes of me sending that one. So I just shot a message to the Quick Performance people. We'll see if they get back with us. I'll tell you who I should holler at, and that is Top Stitch Taylor's boss. They do a ton of AC stuff. I would not be surprised if he's, you know, me just telling him which way the belt's walking, if he goes, hey, try this. Get us a straight edge, straight out the scrap bin. We'll check her for true on our post here. Oh, that's actually really nice. And not as accurate that away. Real good that away. Now, I'm gonna take that good edge and try to lay it across our lower pulley down there coming off the crank. Ooh, well, that's interesting. Now, as far as eyeballing the grooves of the pulley and looking at that edge, she seems to run pretty stinking true, not enough to make anything walk. However, down there, that's the front of the pulley, so the groove don't even start till probably close to our 1/8 inch back. If we went an 1/8 inch back here, it would be that second groove I'm seeing. 1, 2. So I think that's our issue. Let's see. 1 groove, 2 grooves. So I don't think the belt's gonna want to stay in there till it's right there. Which it started doing better once this belt lost a piece of it, because now we got the skinny belt because it's already ripped one off. So, well, if it was just that, you'd think that would stay in there, and half the time it does, half the time it don't. The thing here though is, if all this is lining up good on this bracket to take everything back, just shimming our compressor back ain't gonna help us. It's almost like we need to shave off some of these spacers and take, like I said, the whole thing back. That's risky, because if we take it off there and it don't fix it, then that material's gone. See, gone. We gotta work through our problems. Nobody else will solve them. That ain't gonna work. We're gonna start by trying the simplest thing, which is to simply shim compressor backwards. There, has this loosey-goosey. So let me show you something else interesting. I did just look online, and I just looked up Quick Performance bracket built riding off the back or something. And there's a guy who had used their bracket on like a F-body. Had very similar issue to mine. That's what he tried, and it allegedly worked for him. Let me show you something else that's interesting. Pulleys come in different amounts of grooves. And I don't know if y'all can tell, but these ones almost look even bigger, or these are more of a smaller, finer one. But that may just be the paint on it or something that makes it look like that. But I don't know if you can tell, this one has an extra groove. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think some of them even come in a 8 groove, which as long as the grooves match, which they do, it shouldn't matter, just as long as we can get it in line with 6 out of those 7 grooves. I wonder if those are too thick. Oh, thick mamas. They call me Losing Larry, because I always be losing that hardware. Well, that's it in the front there. We can shave a little off that. We'll do this for just a trial. If it works, we'll pull them off there and make them look better where they don't stick out like a sore thumb. Hot, hot, hot. It's feeling hot, hot, hot. I like the burn, feels good. I feel real good, like, There we go. Let's go for 2. This time I'm a smarts man. I'm gonna use the quick slip glove. Tighten those up. I lost our second one. I mean, I looked through this thing for 5 minutes. Cannot locate it, guys. Ain't got a clue. Never hit the ground. She disappeared. I found that one there that was a little smaller and looks good anyway, so I put it up top. Put the bigger one down low. Now we got a little bit of a gap back there. So we'll go ahead and support it. We'll go ahead and get something on it next. Yep. One thick boy added back there. Compressor's back on. Idler's back on. Tensioner's back on. Belt is back on. You'll notice, because I know we're supposed to have an extra groove on this belt, to try it, I've set it with an extra groove at the back of our little idler pulley and our AC pulley. However, I can already see that that's pulling back on that. So, oh, maybe, well then, yeah, I don't know. Let's just start the damn thing, because that looks way more out of alignment than before, because we didn't bring that one back as well. So let's just start it and see what happens here. Well, she's staying so far. Don't make no dang sense to me, because that's obviously crookeder than it was before. Maybe it'll change once that compressor kicks on. Well, it's staying for now. That's better than it was doing before. Before it would already walked up. It's interesting. I mean, they say if it don't broke or ain't broke, don't fix it. It's staying on. We still need to get a 6-groove belt instead of our custom 5-groove, because that'll be the next step, is to see if the 6-groove is going to stay. I just can't get over how noticeable it is that this is now running over at an angle, yet it chooses to stay. Wonder what would happen if we move that to the 4-groove. Maybe everything's just offset one. And then maybe before it was just in a sweet spot where this belt was wanting to land on top of the grooves of this compressor, and that's what was really out of alignment. Wasn't necessarily the pulleys, but the grooves of the pulleys. See, now as far as straightness, that looks way better, moving that one over and leaving 2 grooves at the back. Let's see if she can track like that. Nope, actually rolled itself back to all the way back now. Moved her back to being 1 groove away, and she's staying in there. Rain, my favorite. Little hoss of the man band, she'll blast through some rain though. A female deer. We have recently lost the backup cam. Not sure where it went, but it's not here no more. Theo come up to the door like, where are you going? We're gonna go get us a new belt, guys. That's the next thing I know is the, you know, we can get it working with that belt that's tore up, but that don't really do us much good if, when we put the correct width one on there, if it walks right back off, you know what I mean? I've got a couple totes just plumb full of returns I've been needing to take to the parts house, so today's a good rainy day to do that. I didn't drop them. Ha-ho! Ha-ho! Off to the parts house we go. So behind the scenes, I'm always trying to project what we're going to be working on, and sometimes we get to all of it, sometimes we don't. Sometimes stuff works out and you don't need some of the parts, and I'm real bad about not taking them back as each one happens, but I'm pretty good at collecting them all in totes and then taking them back at once. Theodore, load up. Woo, him loves a ride. Good boy. I'm the O'Reilly's backdoor bandit. The more I thought about it, the more I do not want to be known as the O'Reilly's backdoor bandit. Scratch that. Oh, I'm surprised, sir. Usually he's over here keeping my seat warm for me. We got our belt. She's a little better brand too. We got the gates this time. Think the gates will work better, Theo? Dun dun dun. Let's get this belt on. It'll be a moment of truth. Moment of truth. All right. That looks way better. I put it on the rear pulley or the rear groove, and this time it walked itself up 1. It looks good now. Turns out we don't need the skinny belt. Get that AC blowing, baby. Temps dropping. Both fans are on. I know I had some people worried about if I even had the fans tied into the AC. Yeah, guys, that's the beauty of the current performance. All of that stuff is a plug-and-play system that all works together. The fans are on their own harness, standalone harness. If y'all seen the very first video, it's actually one of the things that wasn't installed. In fact, Quick Current Performance sells all this stuff together as a kit, which is why it's actually kind of disappointing that this fan kit that they sell can't, and the condenser kit they sell and all that ain't moving enough air to get the AC as cool as it could be just at an idle. And or I don't know if it's what's gonna go on with our overheating. That's what we're about to let happen now. Last go around I had the heater hoses pinched off because I'm suspecting a blend door issue where we're putting some heat from our heater core and some of that's going into our evaporator, which ain't good. So I had those pinched off. So I'm curious to see what will happen if we just let it sit here and run, let it heat up, get nice and hot, and let's see if it can stop at the 210 or continue to creep up. I'm fine with 210, guys, but the thing is, I seen it just a hair to the left at 210, and now it wants to be to the right at 210 and continue to creep up, and we do not want that. Don't forget, that condenser's been in there, so it could stay cool when just the condenser is mounted in. But it seems like now, with the AC running, where we're using our condenser obviously to transfer heat, that we may just be riding a fine line of it's moving enough air where it can cool or not. The thing is, it ain't been hot lately. So if it's an issue when it's 70 degrees out, guys, wait till it gets 105. Now, as far as our belt goes, that thing seems to be tracking beautiful. It makes me happy it's not getting in the back groove no more. And like I said, with that fatter, wider belt, it looks good again. Now, I know I said at the beginning of this, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my steam ports and stuff, guys. But the thing is, I don't have no fancy overflow tank on my Travelall. On its steam port, I think I just routed it back to the water pump down there, where this one we're running from our throttle body up and we're spliced in there. The Travelall just has a regular old radiator cap. It has just a down tube, so if it pukes in it just spits it out. I think we're gonna leave this one the same way and just let it be more or less an overflow tank. If it decides to try to puke it out, it's got somewhere to go. And also, obviously, that was our computer mount, so that was another reason of getting that. For now, I'm gonna just leave this as is. The Travelall has a massive condenser, in fact, bigger than this one. It has AC. It's basically the same setup, and that thing don't have a creeping up issue. If that thing can do it, this thing should be able to do it. What I need to research now is to see what fans are actually on this, because you can have some nice stuff, but if you've got cheapo fans that really can't move enough air, they're not going to get the job done always, guys. And I can just tell you by how quiet these ones are, and then just by putting my hand down there and feeling the air, they don't move as much as a good quality fan can, because I put those on the Travelall. Those things plumb get buck nasty. And just like that, we don't even have to let it try to run and get warm, because we know it's not moving enough air because of that temperature right there. That crept back up to above 60. Yeah, we know if we go drive this thing, it'll blow, you know, down 40 degrees. It'll touch green. But if we come to a stop and we're just idling, it creeps up to over 60. It ain't moving enough air across there. Also confirmed last go around when all the pressures were reading good, after I cooled the condenser down with a bottle of water, all temperature or pressures on our gauges dropped down to where they were supposed to be. And then at that point, obviously the air in there got colder too, because we cooled off our condenser. So we're just simply not moving enough air across there. So let's look into this a little bit. I love hot rodding. I love hot rodding. I love hot rodding. 12 volt, 80 watt. Looking for any name brand markings, and I ain't seeing none. We can look up online and see if maybe they say what it comes with. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. If y'all have paid attention to me and electric fans, y'all will know, as far as the aftermarket fan goes, I'm a huge fan of the SPAL fans, S-P-A-L. No, this ain't paid endorsement. They just really perform like they say they will. Slick not too long ago bought supposed to be a Derail, however you say that one. Also supposed to be good. I don't know if as good as the SPAL, but Slick got his in and took it out, and it was SPAL. It's literally manufactured with SPAL on it. like Derail's buying them from Spall and then just reselling them, but Derail's usually cheaper. So there's that. We could try to get some Derail fans and see if they're actually Spall and save a few bucks, at the risk that we may not get Spall. There's the condenser. Boy, I thought they sold this radiator setup. Maybe it ain't Current Performance. I thought that's who Justin, the previous owner, had said he'd got everything through, but I am not seeing the radiator set up here on their website. Yeah, I hate taking this out. I feel like I'm gonna break it every single time. Good thing I did though, because I just noticed I'd never put our marker lights back down in the housings. Oh, that one's getting scratched on a little bit right there. Don't hurt to check them since we had finished putting our lines in. Look, a little pry right there. I don't think that was currently rubbing, probably just for me hooking up the lines a few times and messing with the AC, but we dang sure don't want that rubbing. Same up there. Both had gaps. That all gets a little tight fit in there, but clearance is clearance. Next, I want to just kick these fans on. I ain't shot lasers before. That was kind of fun. Woo! Don't tell me I can double holster. 135, 110. I mean, that's what your condenser's doing, guys. It's trying to cool that sucker. Hey, let's get distracted and try on this shoe. I never did try them on. They look nice. I guarantee you my wife would like how they look. My thing's comfort, guys. He sent me a size 10. I know I look like a midget on television, but hey, maybe he knew what he was doing. Usually I'm a 10 and a half or 11, but these don't feel too big. Maybe a little tight up front. Well, they look snazzy. They're light, which I appreciate, but to me, and just because I've been on memory foam for a couple of years now, it feels like I'm standing on this as far as the firmness, where the memory foam would be like standing on this. I will say they look nice. Well, I probably look weird not being in a slip-on black shoe. Hey, I mix it up over like when we go to church and stuff, or my nice ones, I've got slip-on gray ones and I've got slip-on tan ones, so I like to mix it up. That thing's already hurting my dang foot though. Dang, the old Nordy V8s. Hey, put a nice shoe. What is that? Damn old Nordy V8. Dang, y'all see that? Old Puddin's rocking the Nordies. I thought I had an extra electric fan, and not a box fan, but like a real deal for a vehicle electric fan. And I'm sure I did, but I've been digging through stuff and I can't find it. So we're gonna try the box fan again. We're gonna kick her to high, and these things don't move an impressive amount of air, but we're gonna keep this up here. With that going across there, I'm just gonna ever see if we can get it to move enough air to drop our temp back down. Not our engine temp, she's staying right at the 210, which is where I want to see it. I'm talking about our temperature as far as inside this cab, or coming out of the vents. And I don't think that fan's gonna do much. That's got higher, so in turn, so has that down there. So now everything's at least 10 degrees warmer. Again, blowing across there, transferring that heat to our radiator. Revved her up to purposely get it trying to warm up, and then let it sit there and idle a couple more minutes, and sure enough, temp had crept up just a little bit. Just hitting dead nuts now on the 210, where usually she's just a degree or two below it. Fans are on right now with the truck off where y'all can hear. And like I said, y'all can hear they're moving air, right? I mean, well, that one's kicked off now. Woo, back of that sucker's hot too. Pretty sure they're both on when it's running. There it goes. So when the key's on and the AC's on, it's just kicking one in for the AC. But when the truck's running, they're both running. I mean, either way, if both were running from the get-go, it would probably keep the AC from, or it'd help keep the AC cooler from the get-go. But no matter what, once the truck gets up to 210 where those fans kick in, both of them, we need it to be able to idle there and not creep up. Now my battery's bad in the Travelall. I know that because we drove it all around last week and I went to drive it yesterday. Click, click, click. So that kind of sucks. But let's put a charge on it, or a jump pack I mean, and let's see what we got going on this one. Take that yell back. Whoa, do it again. When I roll up garage doors, I just want to yell that. We got new neighbors, so I gotta break them in too. Might have to come give them a pressure washing scene for too long. Let them know who they're dealing with. Now pop the hood on this baby, and we've got, this one has holly brackets, which I went with on this one because they look very factory. As in, this one has all the factory stuff over on this side where the S-10 does not. And you can see how it's kind of manufactured. And if you could see how this holly stuff's manufactured, it looks very similar. So I liked it. That's like a cast piece, or it may be billet, hell, I don't know. Versus ours, which is a bunch of plates and spacers. Anyhow, this is the, similar setup of what we're dealing with now. An absolute hoss of a condenser on this, because please do not forget, this thing has front and rear AC. I probably just showed that on reflective glass that you can see a damn thing, but trust me, the AC unit's back there. So we've got one condenser for 2 evaporators. This one does have a little bit bigger or a little different compressor to pump more or something. I don't know. Vintage Air recommended their parts, and that's what I went with. What I'm getting at though is if this thing can keep up, that one should be able to too. Kind of like over there, talk about stuff being tight. Looky there, we got a little rubbage going on. Again, never mess with performance. I don't care. Those little odds and ends don't bother me. But right there we can see our spall on this. So this was a universal radiator, and the cheapest one I could find, by the way. And it come with a shroud that's actually louvered, which is counterproductive towards cooling, actually. Yeah, I think if air can pass through those holes, then when these are on, it can suck air through there. So actually louvers on a shroud ain't the smartest idea, but I put them on there and it works on this thing, I guess. I don't know what it takes to kick these fans on, that if we just try to kick on AC with the vehicle off, if it will or not, or where we can jumper them at, but let's see if we can figure it out. I just want to let y'all hear these fans. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Well, now I wired these babies into their own relays. Like over there, we used a kit that had come with the truck. This was something I built myself. So that has relays for our fans, and if I'm being honest, I don't even remember what else. Well, dang it. Let me just start this sucker with the AC on and see if y'all can hear them. AC kicks in. Oh, they just cycled. Apparently that's backing itself out. Nice little feature. Really surprised those ain't cycled on yet. Blowing ice cold air though, guys. That is cold. It ain't gonna do it justice with that motor running where you can hear it. But those things just kick in. Immediately cool everything down to where it needs to be, and it cycles again. Really, we should have in the tune where when that fan's on, or when the AC's on, it should be wired like that. I don't remember. Woo! I just know that'll freeze you out of here, Theodore. Also part of breaking in the neighbors. Old girl sounds like crap. She's got blown out mufflers. Guys, I didn't even have that in there 30 seconds. She's down touching the grain. That's what's confusing, is these fans don't even gotta stay running to keep that sucker cool enough. I mean, those things just run for 5-second spurts. Well, that is interesting. Makes me wonder, I know about the blend door issue. I wouldn't think that'd be enough to plumb creep that crap up there, but maybe it is. All right, Stinky. All right, you got me. You got me. All right, I just talked to the AC man himself, who knows way more than I'll ever know about it. And I just said, do you think if you put your gauges on it and just read it, you can tell me what's going on with it? And he said, oh yeah. So I said, when can we do it? He said, you can bring it over now if you don't mind running in the rain. I do not. I was telling him about how the travel all acts, and he goes, yep, if you ever have it where your fan's just running nonstop for AC, that's not good. And that makes sense, because then he goes, you know, you're looking to drop from high pressure to low pressure. So if it's cooling the whole time, you don't get to the high pressure you need to make that drop. And he said that's what makes the cold. Like I said, we could study it, but he knows it. And he's about 10 minutes down the road from me, maybe. So let's just go see an expert. Throw our intake back on, but our grill, I just threw it in the bed. No need him popping it in there, in my opinion. Oh, drop the keys. So our engine temp and all that, when we're driving, obviously we're moving a lot more air across the front, especially right now with no grill in it. So just taking direct hit from the wind. But our gauge still ain't even got down into the green. It's just knocking on the door right above it, but it actually can't get there. It's probably about 45, and our engine temp's good where it normally is, just to the side of the 210 where I want to see it. What I'm surprised is that driving along, especially on a cool day today, no sun out, that with that cool air going across the condenser, we still can't get it down in the green. Now mind y'all, I did the AC on the Travelall. Never had a problem out of it. It does have a problem to the rear now. A solenoid valve ain't working back there. Did the AC in Randy's truck, never had a problem. AC on Mold 64, never had a problem. I don't know what's going on with this one. There's the Bearded Wonder. He's gonna get us fixed up. They knew I wasn't talking about you when I said Bearded Wonder, Top Stitch. If I would have said Mustache Man, they would have looked right at you. They've always got the good stuff in here. You seen any of their current performance stuff on these LS or on these little S-10s yet?
Not on the S-10s. I've got a buddy that did one in the Colorado.
They like them in the OBS too. I know people are fans. I mean, it's clean swap stuff for what it is.
Yeah, plug and play. I like it. They let you use the factory fuse box and all that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So it should be. Now, who made this little?
It's all sold through Current Performance to bolt that and then be able to clear that. That's why I went with everything through them. I only had to get their AC kit and that overflow. The rest of the stuff was here, unfinished project from that guy that I bought it from. So I just topped it off with what he was already using, basically. He's got his gauges on. Here we go.
Are those 2-speed fans or single-speed fans?
Good question, sir.
You're right. They're not moving much, are they?
Not moving a lot.
You can feel air moving here for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if I can work my hand behind each one, I can feel it. And if you go up here, you can feel it pulling through a little bit, but not a lot. Got something going on?
Yeah. Yeah, right now with the temperature being where it is, we're going to want to be somewhere around 30 and 200.
You think I got too much in her?
That's the way it's acting.
I didn't really know how much to put back in it. They didn't give me nothing. I just went with what was close to factory. Show them your little rag trick you're doing, or the lack thereof rag trick.
Yeah. Typically, if you got enough airflow, it'll pull that rag and just suck it right to it, and it's
shouldn't be able to roll off there.
No, it should be stuck to it. We're definitely limited on airflow.
So I knew we weren't moving enough air, and then that's why I called Aaron. I was suspecting I may have put too much in there. I didn't know how much to put in there, and I tried around the 28 ounces. 28 may be a little too much for this. I can spray it down. I got piss right now. Hit it. See if it drops. I guarantee it's gonna drop.
See the pressure go down.
See my pressure go away and that pressure go away. Oh, she's blowing hot now. She ain't even blowing cold. She's up there about 70. Hell.
Yeah, low side ain't coming down with it. We're definitely overcharged.
Someone overcharged it. Oopsie daisy. Said if it wasn't overcharged, that low side would have dropped as well. Aaron sucked some refrigerant out. Got the gauges where he's happy with it. And she's still not doing what she needs to do.
Let's start her up again. This door should open if we're on max. Does your vents change like they're supposed to?
It's a good question. That should have gone the foot.
That's not on the foot.
Okay, go ahead and kill it.
It's not moving at all.
Let's start looking at vacuum lines.
To move the door.
All this, huh? So maybe stuff ain't doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Vacuum line on that actuator on that door right there. You see that orange?
Okay, yeah, I see it. Oh yeah, that goes to the back of these right here.
Right.
This one's vacuum operated.
Right.
We had to put
All right there.
we put a new one in the boys truck.
Yeah, we gotta find the main one that feeds inside.
Hell, it probably don't exist.
That's what I'm starting to think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet after the LS swap, that never got swapped.
We'll feed a new one.
Guys, what got him curious here was he pulled this tube here from our blower, and coming out of this box, we're blowing our air across. Then hopefully our evaporator in there, just hot air was coming out of there. So blend door problems. He had pinched them off though, like we had done in the last go around, trying to see if we could stop flow and get that to cool off, but no luck, Chuck. I bet it ain't fed by one, Aaron. That'd be the last thing I'd think to hook up on LS swap. Yeah. Aaron's digging into the dash and found us a mixtape. Got the Dandy, Wannells Band, Everclear, Death Cab for Cutie. What's going on in here?
He said that's where romance begins, is the mixtape.
Y'all want to move these quick release seats where y'all can have more wiggle room?
I found the black.
You just did one in your boys truck? Easy peasy, huh?
Yeah, he pulled it, or he did it. I told him, I said, well, hell, I ain't gonna be here forever, you know, so you're going to have to YouTube something. And so I made him YouTube it, and he was resistant at first, but confident after. You know what I mean? So, anyways, he took that off, and he showed me how to get to it and the bolts and all that. But yeah, it's just, you pull this off, and it's right above here. It's two 5.5 millimeters and one plug.
Did you find her?
Yep. Right there.
All right, already ran through the firewall then.
Yep.
That's nice. Yeah, she probably, where'd you suspect the canister was? Because they usually have a canister,
yeah, they
right?
usually hang.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
I probably, did you put this in?
No, this is factory.
Okay,
Right.
so.
You talking about the vacuum
it's-
canister?
Yeah.
It was on the fire, it was on the...
It's probably right up
support.
here where
Is that
this
where they go?
monster of a filter's at. Aaron ran us a new vacuum line and just teed us in there to get vacuum. I guess now I got controls that work, guys. I've never messed with the stuff other than go from hot to cold. I've always just had it on the vents blowing on me, so it never even crossed my mind that the selector in there may not really be hooked up. Especially since when I was going to max AC, it's obviously affecting the wiring side of things because the AC's trying, so that didn't even cross my mind. Now that we're not going to pump a ton of hot air in there, he said we're actually reading a little low. But since we only had to take a little bit out, that makes me feel better that I didn't go just plumb overshoot it. We had more of a blend issue going on that was also suspected. A minute ago it couldn't even damn near get to 80, so the fact we've crept back down to 60 is a good thing. Hell with chili, we're trying to get freezing.
He's still out there.
Oh yeah. He's crept down to about 60 now. Let's see if she'll keep going. We've just been sitting here now, guys, and she's crept her way down. She's knocking on 50's door at idle here. So that blending in a lot of hot air. Also, it's moving more air out the vents now. So that was letting some of the air go out to other stuff. I think it's more concentrated on moving air across the evaporator now, where before it was sharing some of that air. Now, I don't know what that's going to do for us on our creeping up temperature, if that's going to continue to be a problem. I still think we could put a better name brand fan on that radiator and move even more air, which would just cool us even more. I still think if I put better fan, it's going to move more air.
And it ain't moving near enough air.
And then it's going to freeze it out, ain't it?
Yep. It's only moving about half what it needs. I I've got single fans that'll do more than that.
That's what I'm saying. Those are, I seen the tag on it and it said like 150 watt something something. It's just a cheapo tag, and I was like, that's the Chinesium right there. Well, we're headed back. It's already got down, oh, right at 50. We've only been driving 30 seconds here. I'm glad I went and seen Aaron. Maybe I was getting frustrated with it, but 3 problems basically. Slightly overcharged, not as overcharged as we originally thought, because once we fixed this other stuff, it was low, or the gauges were reading low, so then he actually put more in it. So I think he took a little more out than what he put in, but not a lot. So just the slightest overcharge, perhaps. But the lack of the vacuum being hooked up, which had those blend doors all in funky areas where it was just heating that up, that's what was getting us. And I kind of ruled that out after pinching off those heater hoses and it not making a difference, which Aaron agreed with. But then once he decided to pull that over there, that little vent tube, and felt that hot air, I mean, it just makes sense. It's so simple now to think about, and guys, I just missed it. So obviously our blend door issue, which ain't really so much a blend door as it was the lack of vacuum to the HVAC controls causing our blend door issue. And then what was the last thing? There's something else. Oh, our lack of air traveling across the front of this thing. Again, I think some better fans would improve that. And we'll keep an eye on stuff. She still ain't where I thought she'd be now that we've been driving. She's still just sitting right there around 50. I thought by now we'd be down to 40. Have I mentioned it's wet out? All right, guys, I know this was a terrible video, but this was a video that is the reality of, again, building custom vehicles, custom trucks, custom cars, and you've done, you know, what's recommended by the kit makers and blah, 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 and you're just having issues. There's going to be stuff you have to work through. That being said, I'm not convinced putting better fans on this is going to help our AC. It may help the engine as far as wanting to kind of creep up a little bit. But driving here, I never got that down to touch 40. So I don't, something still seems a little funky to me. I would think we should be able to get it down there. It stayed right at the 50 mark, which, I mean, it's cold, and with tinted windows is cold, or would be even colder. You know, but what's it going to be when it's 100 degrees out? How will that feel? Or can it do 50? Time will tell, I guess. So, I don't know, guys. Part of it, I hate working through little problems on crap like this, mainly AC. AC tends to whoop me. I just don't mess with it enough to be the best at it, I guess. But, shout out to Aaron. Thanks for him helping. We'll see how she fares now with the new setup that we have. Not that much has changed, but we'll obviously keep an eye on stuff. I guess I need to lock in and decide if I do want to put a couple bigger fans on it. Not bigger, better is what I should say. Uh-oh, here comes Theodore. You want to know where Dad's been? I heard Hot Rod out there. Were you out there playing with Hot Rod? But anyhow, guys, that's it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for understanding that not every new, every video can be a shiny new project, but sometimes it's the nitty gritty of really working out some details on something. And that's where we're at on this thing. So thanks for being here. Puttinsfabshop.com for that good quality merchandise. We appreciate all the support there, guys. It keeps this thing just going on, and that means the world to me and my family, especially here in the lately. Anyhow, I'm on the Patreon if you want to see this same type of content ad-free, and then I try to pop on there and just post a couple minute updates here or there throughout the week, let you know how things are going, kind of by, how the week's flowing and going sometimes. We appreciate all the support there, guys. Also, another great way to support me and the family directly. Instagram, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And much other than that, I'll see y'all in the next one. However, do not forget, sitting on your ass will not Finish your project. Your stinking project. Your no good, no AC having project. Your ain't got no top teeth project. That thing look like that, no grill in it. Hot damn, there's so much BSery, we had to start a whole channel for all the extras. Be sure to go check out Puddin's Fab Shop if you ain't seen that baby yet. Come on!